you are doing well and that you are learning lots in school and having fun with soccer if you're playing. Did you know fall is my most favorite time of the year? I like to take walks to see the beautiful trees changing, have bonfires, and drink hot chocolate with my friends. What do you like to do with your friends? Maybe you like to play games or ride bikes or maybe laugh. I like to laugh with my friends. What do you think makes a good friend? Is it someone who is kind, true, and loyal? What does it mean for you to be a good friend? I think it's important to show up and be with your friends when they're having hard times and to share their good times too. This month, we're talking about the fruit of the Spirit called faithfulness. Faithfulness is being dependable, loyal, trustworthy, and someone that can be counted on. We've talked about how God is faithful to us. Remember how Jesus was so faithful to Peter, even though Peter denied him? And how we can be faithful in our relationship with God, like Daniel was faithful to keep talking to God, even though he was thrown into the lion's den. Today, we're going to look at a story in the Bible of two friends and how they were faithful in their friendship to each other. 1 Samuel chapters 18, 19, and 20 tell the story of David and Jonathan. Before David was a king, he was a young man who served King Saul. Now, King Saul had a son named Jonathan who became BFFs with David. David and Jonathan loved each other even better than brothers and promised to be faithful to their friendship. It got kind of tricky when King Saul wanted to kill David. The way things worked in those days, the son of the king would be the next to rule, so that would be Jonathan. But God's prophet had anointed David and said he was going to be the next king. Saul was really angry and jealous and wanted to get rid of David. But Jonathan protected him. Even though he should be the next king, he knew David was God's choice, and Jonathan did all he could to make sure David was safe. He even risked his own life to protect David. Many years later, when David was king, all of Saul's family was gone, as well as Jonathan, and David asked his servants to find out if there was anyone left from the house of Saul. They found there was a son of Jonathan that was still alive. He was disabled in both of his feet, so I imagine he couldn't walk very well. His name was Mephibosheth. How would you like to be named that? When they brought him before the king, David said, "Mephibosheth!" "Your servant," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Now you need to understand that eating at the king's table was only for very important people and never for anybody who had a broken body. So David showed great honor to Jonathan by bringing his son Mephibosheth to his table. This story is really an amazing picture of faithful friends. It wasn't easy for David and Jonathan. They were supposed to be enemies, but they knew how faithful God was and were determined to be faithful to each other. I want you to think about what it would mean for you to be a faithful friend this week. There's lots to think about, isn't there? We also have a little activity that you can do at home. I have pipe cleaners here. We can use our pipe cleaners and some beads. And we're going to make a bracelet. But you can use string or yarn or anything that you have on hand. And if you don't have beads, you can use macaroni or something different. Use your imagination and be creative. But this is going to be a friendship bracelet. So this bracelet can be for you to make to give to a friend, or it can be a bracelet that you use to remind yourself of how faithful God is to you. So for every bead that you string on this, think about a time that God was faithful to you. I remember when I was really little and I felt really afraid, and God protected me and kept me safe. I remember another time when I moved far away and I didn't know anybody, and God was my friend, and he was so kind and good to me. There's all kinds of things you can remember in your life that God has, how to show how God has been faithful to you. Or if you want to make it for a friend, think about times that your friend has been faithful to you, or the things that you really like about your friend. Your friend, maybe your friend is kind, or your friend is really funny, or your friend is really helpful, or your friend is just so much fun to be with. Think about all those things and then give them the bracelet and tell them what you appreciate about them. So this week, think about how you can be a faithful friend, not only to God, but to the people around you. All right? We'll see you next time.